Hi, so in this video I'm going to be showing you some basic statistical calculations in Google Sheets. I'm using Google Sheets here because we all have access to it. If you use your @nevada.unr.edu email, you should be able to have access to Google Sheets. So if you use Microsoft Excel or something else, it works very similarly, but I'm going to use Sheets. Okay, so here what I've got is a list of numbers, and these numbers represent the period of a pendulum. So pendulum swinging back and forth, and I measured it with a stopwatch in seconds. So I put this title up here, period of pendulum and seconds, and it's very important that you put that up there. It'll make your life easier for some things that we're going to do. So first of all, I want to calculate the average of these numbers. Now you can see that they all hover around 1 second. So the average, just as a sanity check, should be around 1 second. So I'm going to make a box here. I'm going to type average, and then over here is going to be the number that goes in there. Now, instead of adding all these numbers up manually in a spreadsheet, we can do that a lot quicker. So I'm going to put an equal sign in that box, and that tells the program that I'm going to give it a formula instead of a number. So it's going to be equal to some formula. And you can see here that it already wants to autocomplete this. So even if you don't type this, it's already going to say, you can hit a tab to complete this. But I'm going to type the word average because that's the function that this uses to take an average, and then which is what we call a mean. And I'm going to open the parentheses, and then I have to tell it what I want to take the average of. Now here you can see that it's predicting what I want to put in there, but if it didn't do that, I want it to be the box A2 through A41. I want it to average all those numbers up. So I'm going to do A2 colon A41. So that's the beginning colon the end. And then I close the parentheses and I hit enter, and you can see that it did the average for me, 1.026, and again, that looks pretty reasonable for these numbers. Another thing that you want to calculate oftentimes is the standard deviation. So I'm going to type SD for standard deviation here, and in this box I'm going to have the standard deviation. So I'm going to do equals, and there's a function in Google Sheets and Excel called stdev. And you can see the autocomplete. They're already doing the job for me. So stdev, and again, it's a function, so I'm going to open parentheses, and then I have to give it the list of numbers, and it's the same list of numbers, A2 to A41. And I close the parentheses, and I hit enter, and you can see that the standard deviation is 0.055. So that means that, on average, these numbers are spread out by 0.055. Yeah. And another thing that we'd want to be able to do here is make a histogram. So a histogram is a type of graph. So what we're going to do here is click Insert, and we're going to have it insert a chart. And you can see that it already picked histogram for me. But if it didn't pick histogram for me, you can see that I can go over here and click what type of graph I want. So there's lots of different types of graphs, but this one down here, histogram chart, is the one that it auto-picked for me. So I'm going to have a histogram chart, and then of course you have to tell it what range of data. So if I have a spreadsheet with a whole lot of other stuff in it, I have to specifically tell it what range of data I want. So in this case, it's A2 to A41. A1 is just the title, so I don't want to include that one. So A2 to A41, and I hit OK, and it has created this histogram for me, which tells me kind of the distribution of how the values worked out. So basically this tells me if I hover over this, that 8 numbers appeared between 0.94 and 0.98. So if you go in here and look at all the numbers that appeared in that range, there should be 8 of them. There are 11 numbers between 0.98 and 1.03, so you can count up 11 of those. So you can see here that with this distribution, the average should be around here somewhere, which it is because we calculated it as 1.026, so the average is about there. And then all the rest of them you can see kind of taper off from there. Interestingly, there were no numbers between 1.07 and 111, which is no big deal. But you can also see that by putting this title up here, it automatically made a title for me up here, and it automatically labeled the x-axis for me. Like maybe I want to change the title, I double click there and I just do period of pendulum. And I probably don't need to tell the units up here. So that's how you do some basic statistics calculations and make a histogram in Google Sheets.